And again, a fun way to kick it off. Definitely was fun yesterday as well. So anyways, with that said, day number 2 of the group stages. I am joined by a co-caster here. Of course, I'm going to be joined by actually Near of Evil Corporation. Near, how's it going, man?
It's going great. I'm looking forward to this series here today. Had a good holiday and back for some fun action here.
Yeah, so you enjoyed your holiday. It's been a little bit here since you've been with Han. Was it fun having some time off of Han and enjoying the family?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it gives like a refreshing feeling when you come back to the game, and then after a longer break, you're like kind of more eager to play it as well. So
Yeah.
you have that better feel for it. Except I haven't played that much, so these changes I haven't had a really good feel of all of them yet. Saw some Jade Spire action yesterday. Didn't have the effect that they wanted it to, but it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's that's what really makes this break that much more interesting. I mean, I can't recall like in past holiday breaks if we really ever had like a big patch like this. I mean, it's very possible, but I mean, this was one of the biggest shifts in balance as far as all these new items and changing things. So yeah, it's kind of interesting kind of coming back and realizing, wait a second, the game is different. Well, because it is. So as you mentioned, we witnessed that a bit yesterday and excited to see how that continues now. So again, we got obviously two very good teams going at it right here, and the draft, in fact, well underway. So let's get into that here. We have Tundra, Warbeast, Midas, Wild Soul the Bands, Ophelia into Behemoth, Pebbles into Parasite, and then Arachna coming out into Prisoner. Arachna has been seen more and more lately on the scene, but what do you make of this draft so far here, Near?
I think that the old sync, they used to run this Ophelia Pebbles, make a Pebbles mid and then slap Ophelia jungle, and then they just push, and like that was almost an unstoppable strat. I think Slat has something like 37 wins with Ophelia and 2 losses at that point, and I think the two key players, honestly, in that strategy is probably the mid player Pebbles and the Ophelia, like the push and the rotations. And Mika is always doing great in that mid lane, so it's a really strong strategy for them, and I think he's going to keep going here with it here, feeling that they have done this before, and they can, do it again here with new players, with 3 new players.
Yeah, so you'd have to guess, again, the short lane Arachna, very likely going to be the case here in the hands of Arachna, or in the hands of Haxman, I should say, with that coming out. Yeah, you point out Mika, of course, here. Just to reiterate that, for those that may not know, he obviously did leave for a little bit there. Cycle number 6, though, he came back at the very end, actually helped them win the cycle there. And it was announced after that Mika is back. He's actually, he is doing studies and whatnot with school, but figured he could still play some Han on the side at least, and he is officially back with Sync Esports. So, of course, replacing Massera there. So, yeah, it's fun to see Mickey back, and I know a lot of people love him, as do I, of course. So, all right. What do we got with the bands here? Silhouette, Lodestone, Ogi, Magnus, Salamon, and Pharaoh. And, ooh, an NG pickup coming out for Sync. Not your everyday support, honestly.
No, I'm a little bit surprised, actually, because Rhapsody is up, and Rhapsody Ophelia combo is pretty strong in the push. If you get a little bit of snowball effect, it just keeps rolling, especially with the Pebbles as well, if you get an early portal key. But Engineer is still a strong hero. I guess it deals more damage in the lane. Like if they can catch someone with the stalagmites, it's very powerful.
Ooh, Drunken Master then to finish it all off. You see the Illuna was the 4th pick for Complexity. Of course, love a known Illuna player, so not very surprising there. But the Drunken Master, they didn't think too much about that. It seems like they had a pretty good idea. And how are they going to lane this, though? Is that going to be a suicide Drunken then, I guess?
I think it's a suicide, yeah. It kind of hurts on that hero, but I guess that his team is going to make the space for him to recover at some point. I think that's the key goal here with the hero. Else I would have liked to see something like a Kraken or something instead. I think it offers more in terms of team fight. But we haven't talked much about the Hillborn draft here so far. I think they have this Oscar signature Behemoth, and Rook plays really good to the Parasite as well. And then they have an aggressive mid lane with the Prisoner Illuna here. Illuna is a good pick because you can also land those 5-second red stuns because there's Ophelia minions. So you have a lot of targets to bounce from and bounce to. It's a good pickup, and as you mentioned, Love plays that very well. So the mid lane is going to be very interesting, also in terms of which jungler is going to be more active there.
Yeah. Oh man, the right-clicking Lord Self Forest. I'm actually a little surprised he's even still there. I know there's been a lot of value in that hero. I mean, it's been for a little bit now, but even more so late. Again, in this last patch, he in essence just really got a slight buff even. So a lot of people liking the Lord Self Forest. I don't know. I'm also almost a little surprised that they aren't. But I guess yeah, they already do have the Parasite. So yeah, never mind. It really wouldn't make sense. But Well, they're thinking about it still. It's clearly going through their mind, but I guess they definitely still want the hard carry here. And Malakin is something that perhaps coming to mind. Malakin, of course, arguably a little bit of buffs too with different items, but what? Oh, doctor in the end. Okay. Well, doctor.
It's a bit interesting. They have to make sure that they don't fall behind early, because else their heroes it's going to be very rough for them to defend. I mean, Ophelia Astrolabe can really counter something like a doctor initiation after, 11 to 12 to 13 minutes if they try to force a fight there. So they're looking to take this a bit later, come clean throughout the mid game, and hopefully at an even game, and then they want to take the fights. Behemoth, of course, very strong initiator, especially against something like Ophelia, if they can burst people down with those creeps as well to add on the damage. So it's going to be interesting. If they don't give up too many kills early on, I think they'll be in a good spot. Especially because they have a bit different draft. And like the old sync would draft teamfight heroes, and then they would just push. Here you see they have players like Haxor and Zipper. They can really carry a game. So they kind of adjust there where they pick Arachne, they pick Drunken Master, and then I think they'll just push slowly and then reset and then just keep farming. I think that's what they want to do, especially with the players that they have now. I think it suits them more.
Yeah, they like to run with that. I guess Mickey on the pebbles. That's kind of that classic right there for sure. So it really is something to kind of going back to that idea as well. That it's you see these two teams go with this big patch and everything, but here they are, after this break, and I gotta say, if this was pre-patch, really wouldn't be too surprised to see the same lineups on either side coming out right here. So interesting.
Maybe not Arachne that much. That might have been a different hero, but people really like this hero now. It seems to be one of the best carries at the moment.
Yeah,
at least one of the most picked.
Well, honestly, Arachne, see, the interesting thing with her, she actually got nerfed in this last patch because those changes actually happened a little prior to that, remember? So, we were starting to see her kind of dabble, into the scene a little bit. Teams were kind of trying her out, at least. I know BMG especially liked running her boxy playing at mid, so. But yeah, again, seeing it here, especially as a short lane carry, I guess that is a little more different perhaps. But, yeah, Sync liking it here, and we'll see how it performs for them. Of course, that Harding Carapace could be good in a lot of ways. Hell, especially against that Doctor even, which happened to be the final pick. So, I'm not sure what that is about right there.
I think the change to the Harding Carapace is probably the reason why people think it's one of the best heroes then. I mean, one of the top carries at least. Not the best one by any means, but definitely up there. So I think just being able to activate that if you're stunned, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Mitigating a lot of damage and guaranteing that you can get ops from auto attacks even if you die. So, and putting out that ultimate if you're in a bad spot and actually get gone on.
Yeah. It is strong. It definitely is. So it is kind of interesting. The Doctor, that's where Doctor is kind of good at the same time because, the Spider, he's not too worried about that, you could say, because of his ludicrous speed.
That's true.
He's able to kind of port away from it. So perhaps that's also some logic as they're thinking with the final pick Doctor Repulsor there.
Yeah, probably. I think his main target is probably going to be the Prisoner. Parasite can also jump a creep and get out of it, kind of.
Yeah.
And you really don't want to use it onto an Luna or Behemoth, I think, after they use their stuff. So it's probably going to be Prisoner that's mostly targeted, unless Doctor is out of mana, of course.
Oh, how about this? So we got our 2v2 middle lane here. Pebbles, Engineer versus the Prisoner, Luna. Always fun having a hook hero, especially in these 2v2 middle lanes. Obviously, it's a case of you think it could perhaps go either way, unless, but the hook hero, in this case Prisoner, able to hook into tower range especially, could cause some issues. So,
yeah,
forward to
sure.
that.
I would give the advantage to the hook hero because the Luna stun 1 second, it guarantees the hooker, and then the Parasite, if he's nearby, I mean, he can come in with the follow-up damage that they need. But it's gonna be interesting to see who rotates first here, who makes the first move. I mean, I think if there's a player-hero combination that's just one of the best ones, it's Mickey Pebbles, so.
Oh, yeah.
That makes it interesting as well.
Yeah, hard to argue that.
That much of an advantage because of that.
Fuzzy Sloth plays a pretty good Prisoner as well. Obviously, another fantastic middle player himself. So yeah, that should be that's definitely where the action is bound to be, of course. But taking a quick look at the other lanes, hopefully before too much happens there mid. We got the bottom, of course, Arachne versus the Behemoth in this case. You do see Ophelia. She is in the jungle, but currently over more towards the middle. So, but Arachne, of course, expected to have a pretty good time down here.
for sure.
3-1 so far, so I guess, I don't know if it's just been missing a couple, I guess with the blocks from Behemoth and whatnot, but a little bit of a slow
If
start.
that's the case. It's well played from Oscar. I mean, 5-2 at this point. That's really effective for him. Well played. I think the final for Ragnar like this. I mean, compared Darkness 8-2, but I mean, Drunken Master does okay against the Darkness, so I would definitely favor Ragnar to get out at like plus 30, 40, 50 GPM compared to Darkness here.
Yeah, Oscar especially has been playing this Behemoth so much lately, too, for complexity, I feel like. And again, we always talk about how he just seems to get the portal keys some way, somehow, in about 15 minutes, so no matter the start. But yeah, the point is he's very comfortable with it, but no matter how comfortable you are against an Arachna, as a Behemoth, it's still got to be a little difficult. But yeah, going the boots first, kind of interesting there. He is lacking the regen now, but something is being delivered, probably some regen. There we go. We'll be able to make up with that a little bit now. But yeah, as it goes on, definitely expecting the Arachna, of course, to really start to take off. Ophelia's sitting middle. She's waiting.
He wants to be active here. But also the lane position is... Oh, he's going in here.
Oh, the middle lane? Yeah, they are going to try, but not going to be enough in the end. Ophelia was already falling back, actually, so...
He actually hooked both heroes, but I mean, when you hook creeps as well as a hero into the tower prioritizes the creeps there, so... They don't have the damage unless they hook a hero kind of solo, and then get the tower aggro as well. They need that assistance, or a parasite. It's either.
That could help too. Right now, what you got currently, the Catman champion, he's continuing to farm in the jungle here. So, yeah, as we saw there, Zlap trying to be a little bit active. Unfortunately, not really much to be had though. So we'll go back to the jungle, but back to the middle lane. Actually, Prisoner gonna be hit back in with that Keck stun. He does have a hook still. Oh, he goes for it on Pebbles, but just the sidestep needed to avoid the hook right there. That was very close. I mean, if he actually got hooked, that's probably dead Pebbles, honestly. So,
yeah, could have been. Love is level 3, so he does a lot of damage with the auto attack and a power throw. So could have been, but he might have survived as well. Would have been close.
Yeah.
They're going for the top rune here, so they secured that. And Behemoth, oh, he has to be careful on the bottom one.
Oh, he ninjas it right in front of Ophelia. It happened to be a regen, so really no harm, no foul there.
Yeah. Still really good rune control from complexity there.
Yeah.
Or top lane.
Yeah, Doctor. Oh my gosh. The stagger, the final auto attack, and Zibe takes out Formless for the Bloodlust kill. Should that happen here?
I don't think so. Especially also if you can force Parasite to rotate over. He does have a bottle, so maybe he was just greedy for some CS and then didn't have the bottle charges. And Drunken has a bottle as well, so I think he was just playing a little bit too aggressive and thought that he was fine. But a max stagger does a lot of damage, also with the auto attack damage that it adds. So I think he just underestimated him. But a good start for Zippy here, 400 GPM. That was not the hero I expected to be leading GPM charge after 5 minutes.
Yeah, and actually caught this at the bottom. The bottom lane somewhat at least. Ophelia assisting with the Minotaur from range. And then you see the Spider Sting used. Middle lane, by the way, Pebbles going at it with Aluna. Pebbles is dropping. Aluna's going down first, though. And that will be a kill onto her. Pebbles, he's going to be fine, actually. So I'm not sure exactly how that started, but it looked like the Legion team, they were engaging themselves. The hook, again, just out of range. Tried to finish off Pebbles right there, but well played by Sync. And obviously that tied in with what happened at the bottom lane. Arachna diving beyond the tower using that Spider Sting, and of course Behemoth, not much you can do against that. So 3-0 start here for Sync. They're already rolling here quite a bit.
Yeah, it's looking really good for them. I would like to comment Slap there, because if he sent his Minotaur around, usually Oscar has been doing a good job and Complexity as a whole of avoiding the bottom river here, so Slap has a very hard time ganking when he plays Ophelia. But if you only send a minion, then it might cause your enemies to not see it because it doesn't show as a hero on the map. So it's only like a small dot. I'll beat Behemoth again.
Yeah, he's going to be fine. Yeah, that's something that's always actually top lane. Drunken Master, speaking of Parasite, he's out trying to help turn right here. The Untouchable's up. It's helping him stay alive for the time being. If anything, it is mitigating some damage, but it's not enough in the end. And Zibe will fall. So finally a kill happening for Complexity after being down 3-0 to start right there. So that's good news. And yeah, you talk about the little dots right there. Parasite for that matter. Being in that little dot. Is that something that you think like?
But sometimes you don't see it. I think most teams will see it, but it's still, if you send it through the river, there's less of a chance that he sees it on the map, and then he can come behind and then put up the stun or the grip or whatever it was. So That's a good heads up for Slap, and his hero was down bottom pulling as well. So it's just a heads up play where he keeps his experience from pulling at the same time as making a gank happen. So it's just a nice thing to see, especially because if he walks to the hero and there's a void, he's definitely been being spotted. So
that's true.
Just taking that chance. So it's a small thing, but I mean, they got the kill there.
Yeah, obviously worked out there at the bottom lane. So smart tactic there. Of course, left plenty of experience on the Ophelia, arguably the best Ophelia right now on the scene. So bottom lane, Arachna is going to help push out the bottom lane here, and Behemoth coming back though. See Oscar where he's at. He is getting something delivered again. He does have a bottle in the boots. There we go. It does have his striders now, so usually would see him to start to be a little more active, perhaps in other places. Something like this middle lane. Again, middle, speaking of it. Here comes the Skeleton King. Similar story. Ophelia's staying back. Skeleton King's going in, but oh, okay, because it's counter-warding right here. That's well played.
Yeah. That's just in range of the counter ward. It has to be like just on the edge, so it's good for them. Nicely placed.
Yeah, wow, that really had to be just on the outside of it, but it did work out for them. You see Behemoth build rot. He's looking, but I think Sync knows that he's missing and perhaps roaming around as he is, so
yep.
They are playing safe here. You see Zibe falling all the way back. Oh, yep. They hook Engineer, though, and that should be a kill. There we go.
Nice to see there. Good for them. Increases his GPM a bit on Vastislav as well. He's not above 300 yet. Neither is Pebbles, though. So they're both having great respect for each other here. They're playing cautious.
Pebbles gets hooked in as well. It's like rinse and repeat right here. He is going to go down. He gets a combo off before with Drunken Master coming in. And they are going to try to at least get one kill right here. Behemoth, he's definitely going to fall to Rack. Look at Truck, and he goes further knowing that Haxor was coming in to clean up the one kill. Will they get more out of this? Prison Break coming out, or will they actually fall because of the Prison Break? Yes, it does pull it back, actually just close enough despite the keg stun. Dr. Repulsor comes in and clean up on Drunken Master. Prisoner goes down, but they also take an Arachna. That energy field will save Engineer, actually, just barely. But what a clash here in the middle lane. A lot of back and forth.
Yeah. Oh, that keg stun. If that was on the other side of business, they kicked him away so the ulti wouldn't go off.
Yeah.
That would have been huge because then both Drunken and Arachna would have survived. Your two highest GPM heroes would have been completely different. But they do manage to kill a Luna with the entry field as well there. So, I mean, good back and forth there. And I guess Complexity comes out on top because they killed both Drunken and Arachna. As well as Pebbles before that.
Yeah. Great turn for Complexity, definitely. And come within one hero kill and see a slight gold lead still in favor of Sync Esports, about 1,500, but obviously Complexity making it interesting there as Arachna, 440 gold per minute, though. So again, kind of new items and stuff. What are you thinking to see on Arachna here? Still kind of a routine, perhaps, with the Firebrand? I mean, I guess he would have got that by now, though, so.
Yeah, I think Firebrand or something Whispering. Maybe he's going for a Shroud and doesn't want to show that that's what he wants to buy, so he can get a surprise kill. So he doesn't have any build-up items on him. Could be something. Behemoth gets caught here. Nice coordination from Mickey there, tossing him into the Minotaur.
Yeah, saw that right there. That's obviously, again, Mickey just knows what he's doing on Pebbles. And, of course, him and Slapped especially. A lot of synergy there. They've been playing for a long time, so well played indeed. He makes it look so easy. But, yeah, that's interesting that you point that out. Yeah, he's here sitting on 2,600 gold. Like, the only time you ever see this early on is usually when the hero's going like a mock of brilliance. But, you know, that's not going to be happening on Arachna. But I guess, yeah, if he wants to hide the fact that he's getting that Shroud, then this is a way to do it.
I think that might be it. But, I mean, they might also be suspicious of that. He's probably going Shroud then, because he doesn't have any items on him. I mean, he has been free farming. I'm pretty sure they know that, so.
Oh, yeah.
Also, that last fight, Slap was not level 6. That could also have changed a lot in favor of Sync. So, unfortunate for them that he was still level 5 at that time and couldn't assist with his ultimate. That's also a big part of why it went so well for them.
Middle lane coming back. Pebbles. There's a word of sight here. He needs to be careful about it. In fact, he goes back in onto a Luna. Behemoth running in, though. He's going to get a stun off a Luna on the other side. Throws out her stun. The hook from Prisoner. He's thinking about it. He's going to try, but not really able to get the best angle there. So, in the end, Pebbles is going to be fine, actually. So, a little bit back and forth middle once again. You see Oscar, obviously, still trying to be useful here in the mid. I mean, he only has 430 gold right now, so not necessarily that close to the portal key just yet, but well, it takes us one kill, it feels like, which could possibly be top lane. They're going to try. Yeah, there we go. The pull in from Doctor. There's the follow-up from Parasite, and there we go with Behemoth. So, like I said, all it takes is one kill, and hey, they get a tower kill as a team, so all of a sudden he has 1,000 gold. So,
Yeah,
he's getting there.
that's a huge swing for him. Yeah. The difference this game is that he has no place where he can farm his blink. I mean, he has to run around and gank, because Arachna's not going to let him farm bottom. Sync is not going to abandon it, so that he is able to farm there for 3-4 minutes. So he has to do these roams and get his gold that way. And so far, that really helped on his way there. He's been doing a good job on that.
Yeah, it's also pretty important to note here that I mentioned it at the beginning too, but Complexity, they played yesterday. They played, in fact, 3 matches yesterday to kick it off here in the group stages, so they had a busy day, obviously. Where Sync, on the other hand, this is their first match of the group stages, and again, especially after a big break and everything, you got to wonder, and with the new patch, how that kind of is perhaps affecting things. I mean, I know for a fact that they have scrimmed a little bit. I was watching them throughout the week, so it's not like they're completely out of practice, but coming back after a break, definitely something to take into consideration right here. With, again, Complexity just playing 3 best-of-2 matches yesterday, so 6 competitive tournament games in total. Middle lane, I want to make a play.
Everyone wants to make a play here, it seems. Something has to happen, I think, that feels like.
Yeah. Look at the Skeleton King, it's like scouting out the Aluna, but that's really it. However, Pebbles, okay, he is going to go in. He's getting ported back, though. Oh, he tried to take out Aluna. Meanwhile, Ophelia is going to be killed, though. You see the hook back in, gets one of the creeps. Drunken Master, he's realizing, yeah, he's got to get the hell on out of there. Arachna is nearby, too, but the numbers are just advantage of Complexity, so you don't want to fight this here.
Yeah. Also, just the, whoever had the best positioning there came out on top. Complexity, of course, having the tower advantage, too, and then they see Slap, and Doctor jumps him and makes sure he does not get any spells off at all. Else fighting into Ophelia this time can be really rough, but of course if you kill her right off the bat, it's not as big of an issue. So good catch there from Complexity, nullifying Sync's rotation there.
And you were absolutely right about the Assassin Trap, by the way, in Arachna. So yeah, it's kind of one of those, like, it's clever that he's doing it because he doesn't want to show it, but at the same time, as you pointed out, the fact that you were able to pick up on that, Complexity, Experience, a smart team, perhaps they were too. That that's probably what he's doing, to be fair. So I think they've seen it by now.
From Love. He just placed this, so they expect Arachnas to come in shrouded here, or middle lane. I mean, also Love put so many rev counterweights in the mid lane. It's really frustrating playing against him because he loves to buy those counterweights.
Yeah.
And he really bought a lot here, placed on the left side, walked throughout here, seeing that, okay, there's no ward here, and then he puts an offensive ward here behind the mid lane as well, seeing any rotations coming from there. So it's a smart play, expensive to do, but definitely worth it if you can catch people off guard.
Absolutely. If they get a kill on, I'll say, especially the Arachna, because of that, then of course, absolutely worth it. So denied tower coming out. Here in the middle lane, you see, gonna hit Pebbles actually, and they are gonna get enough follow-up for the kill. Here comes Ophelia. She could not even, she did get off her heal actually. Dr. Pulse in the meantime, he's being locked down. Yes, it is gonna be a kill. In comes a shockwave from Behemoth, but it's not gonna matter. The energy field keeping the support out. Parasite also now gets caught. He does have an infest, but he couldn't get close enough to anything right there to realistically use it. So what seemed like a decent start for Complexity killing Pebbles ended up disastrous for them as Sync just rolls them over.
Yeah, Arachna came in to join the fight there, and Ophelia was still up with heals, but I really thought that would go in their favor. I mean, kill the Pebbles, reset, and then when you have another hook, you can maybe go in again. But well played there from Sync, just keeping on the pressure and realizing that they can keep going here, because Prisoner used his ulti onto Pebbles. Aluna used the red stun as well, and Parasite used his ulti, so basically there was only Behemoth ulti up, and Invis Doctor got caught as well. So after they catch him and kill him right off the bat, they can just keep going.
Yeah. Was that did they have a Rev War middle lane? Is that how they sell the Doctor? And did it just
I think
off?
it might have expired now, yeah. But he was running in an Invis on top of all of them, and then they just went on him. So unfortunate that there was a Rev there, but also a risky play. I mean, and he got punished for it.
Yeah, he definitely did. So we'll play it again by Sync, and now they have a they have a lead once again. Yeah, bottom. There's that Rev Ward though.
Yeah.
There you go. It's going to keep Oscar alive, at least. Working towards the portal keep. By the way, so Dr. Pulsar, he is going to be going the Nullstone here. You think that is going to be the best choice here?
Not really sure. I mean, I guess you can't get shoot from Drunken, and you can't. You can still get tossed from Pebbles, tossed where he wants to be tossed. He can toss to himself, so I'm not sure if it's actually the best. There are a couple of spells he can block, but Sync can also just play around it, actually, without losing too much on it. I guess it's good against Drunken. I guess you can't get the Ragnar spin or ulti, but you can still just fly away from it, so it's not like it's gonna be used on you. I guess he wants it as a farming tool as well.
Well, he's going to be having it here soon enough, and we'll see again how that how it follows here. As Arachna, speaking of that, did they just dust? I think they did, yeah. Oh, that was actually really close, because he was using the Sash to come. I think the Ward of Sight might have seen him use it initially. That's why she dusted right there, but she was just a little too early, so I guess that's good for the Arachna, though.
Coming back to from this day, I mean, I'm not a carry player, but I think Hillflower into Shrunken Head would have been better this game, especially because you can fly freely throughout, NG field and stuff like that. Doesn't annoy you, so getting the attacks damage and the mana regen you would need from something like a Hillflower could be a viable option, then going for the defensive item after that.
Oh yeah, no, I would have to definitely. Again, Shrunken is one of those funky items this game because obviously Arachna, Drunken, they just don't care at all. But you pointed out Energy Field. It's like one of those abilities. That's actually Pebbles jumps in. He chucks in Prisoner as well, and there's that Energy Field. What placement! He just seen right on the corner. He just had zero chance. The synergy's there for Sync Esports. It's like they're not even missing a beat despite this tournament's being inactive for 3 weeks or so. And now into the Congor pit they go. So, yeah, this is going to be big here for Sync. Obviously a token of life coming.
It's a lot harder to do, the time that Pebble or the NGLT with the Pebbles toss because of the duration on the NGLT, like how long it takes to cast it. So you have to say now and then you pop it. And the thing is, if you pop it too early, someone's going to know and they're going to blink away. Because then, okay, why would you pop an NG field there?
Yeah.
There must be something up. So you have to do it like at the same time. It's pretty hard actually, and they make it work there. So well played. I do think he would have died anyways, but nice. Anyways, they get the kill. That's what they need, and they take a tower into Congor. So
into the triple stack Ancients.
Yeah, they get everything that they want there from that kill.
Jeez, the resource swing, especially if they finish these off, which I assume they are. Yeah, I mean, there's no one coming from Complexity. Obviously, they don't know that 100%, but yeah, they are going to finish them off here. They realize that they're comfortable enough to do that. And, I mean, you just see the gold swing all of a sudden. It's now 6,400 gold lead. This was maybe 1,000 gold lead before all that happened. And so another 5,000 gold on top of that. Pretty solid stuff. The token, as mentioned, now in Arachna. But, yeah, so things are looking up and up here for St. Kitts. But look at Engineer even, man. This is the life of a support. The good life, that is. He's got Steam Boots of another 1,400. He actually might just be going into that portal key now, figuring that he's got some good gold here.
I mean, after you kill some Triple Ancients and you get a Congor and a tower, I mean, you're loving life forward because it's basically the goal that you earned almost throughout the game to that point here. So that's really good for him. He almost has a blink. I mean, that's huge if they can get that. Then he's gonna be a target as well that they have to kill instead of being that guy in the background that they can kind of deal with after initiating on the proper heroes they want to. Now he's kind of an initiate hero that they benefit a lot from killing, and it usually shouldn't be that way. At least not at this time of the game.
Yeah. See, portal key obviously on Behemoth, so, and they in fact used that at the top lane to get the kill on a Drunken Master that they just had right there. So a little bit later, but still, for a Suicide Behemoth against an Arachna, pretty good timing. Speaking of Arachna, okay, they are going to kill him right here, but at what cost now? You see a big turn from Pebbles. Obviously Arachna coming back up because of the token, and just like that, Parasite Behemoth dead. Prisoner, he is going to be able to TP out. And that will be the end of it. So, I mean, they get the token at least down, but it costs 2 heroes, and this thing's going to work off of that now.
It's risky, too. They thought he was alone, and so they went for a chance there. It didn't pay off. I mean, they got the token, but for 2 heroes, I don't think that's worth it. And Behemoth ulti is on cooldown here, so Sync is just going to push with it. It's risky to do when it's so close to an enemy tower.
Oof, that was interesting right there with the portal key interaction, but Arachna gonna be fine. Pebbles like, you know what? I'm bored. I want to keep this going. Mickey, he just wants to have fun. He wants to keep fighting, and well, he'll get another kill out of it on a prisoner. So, living the YOLO life works out a lot of the time. Sometimes not so much, but this time it's working out plenty for Sync Esports. So you can tell just all the momentum right now. They're having fun with it, and that's a good sign for Sync. at least. Not so much for complexity. They're continuing to be in a tight spot here because of this.
For sure. It's I think he's going Hellfire now. It seems like so. Yeah, he has the defensive item he wants, and now he's going for the damage. And they need damage here. I mean, they are pretty far behind. They need some good initiations and some pickoffs in the near future here, where they don't get counted on, or I mean, where they don't give up any heroes in return. So if they can get a bit of momentum going, they're back in this. Of course, think it's not like it's over at all. I mean, Ophelia is very farmed here. Engineer has a Polky in 200, but they still have to keep their heads cool. I mean, there's still an enemy behemoth on the enemy team, and the initiation potential is definitely there for complexity to turn the game in their favor.
Yeah, I want to go back to the Doctor real quickly. Again, it's like that's rude. No, I want to go back to Doctor though. We're talking about the idea of a shrunken head, and again, it really is at that interesting spot because, like you're talking, it's sure not that great against a Arachno Drunken Master, but man, Engineer the energy field, it really is one of those abilities that if you're going up against it, that alone usually is enough argument to be made that, okay, I need a shrunken head. Because, yeah, the idea that Doctor cannot freely fly around in these fights simply because of that ability, I mean, that's going to hurt. But, yeah, he is going to Hellflower. He figures he needs a little more offense here. Understandable, but it's not going to, this is going to be more of the individual kill potential and not necessarily that great for the team fight potential, perhaps because of the energy field. Who, by the way, an Engineer now has the portal key even that he does get here, so.
Yeah. I mean, I get his idea because it's also troublesome if Drunken Master Q is gonna stun you for 2 seconds in the middle of a fight. I mean, that might buy enough time for Ragnar to kill you and another stun to land on you. So I get the idea. It's kind of, it's not an optimal choice here where he's just safe. So he went with one of them and that he expected to survive the best with.
Yeah. Ophelia, he is farming very well, and that's showing. In fact, Shaman's Headdress, so we're going to be seeing a barrier idol come out, which honestly is not, again, really a popular item. I want to say it did get a little bit of a buff here in this item patch, as far as some regen maybe, but perhaps, I don't know if that would be a reason why he's picking it up, or if just... See, now, this is interesting, though.
Push base, I think.
Yeah. But, see, going this, though, instead of maybe like a Staff of the Master, I've always thought Staff is pretty good on Ophelia. How it reduces the cooldown so much.
It's good if you can ulti twice and the fight's still going on. I mean, like they initiate on you, a fight happens, you ulti right away, and then it's prolonged, and the enemy team tries to reset, or you try to reset, and then you go back in, and then you can use it again. That's where it's effective.
Okay.
So if you can do that, it's a good item, but else not so much. So Barrier is kind of that item that's always gonna be successful for you instead. So there's no risk involved in picking that up, unless you get bursted right off the bat. But of course, getting bursted with a Barrier idol and Play the Creeps and an Astrolabe on top of you, that's pretty hard to die from. At the same time, they have a lot of physical on the Hellpoint side as well, so yeah, they have to use it kind of preemptively before something like a Behemoth jump.
Oh, well, here we go. Speaking of jumping, Arachna gonna get pulled in right there. You see the Hardened Carapace on the heels, and now comes a Shrunken Head. The energy field is down. Dr. Pulsar, you can tell he's feeling the pain. He is gonna go down. He has a buyback using it immediately, but so much damage already done by Sync. Ophelia goes down. She did already use her Ophelia's touch, though. What a hook on Arachna right there, by the way, by Prisoner, and it actually finishes him off. And actually, Complexity is gonna end up winning this fight in the end. In fact, Drunken Master, yep, he's gonna go down too. Pebbles will be the sole survivor, and I think it was, yeah, he bought back, actually. So that was a genocide for Complexity, and it did take a couple of buybacks, but honestly, a hell of a hold from them.
It's a really good hold there. I mean, what a hook they're catching Arachna, who's routing away. And I mean, Engineer having that blink in that fight, that was huge. He blinked in there. I thought, like, Complexity's mindset was, okay, we blocked him off, we hooked him in, and then we can kill him here, and there's no interference. But Engineer jumping in there and just ulting 2 people, kicking, I think, Doctor in it as well, and getting silenced. I mean, that was amazing play there. Huge impact from him with the portal key as well. And nice hold from Complexity. Of course, it took 2 buybacks, but definitely worth it here. The Legion side heroes, I mean, something like Ophelia is going to taper off, and it's the same with something like a Pebbles eventually, I think. So if they can keep prolonging the game here and getting the items, Turtle, as they are really good at doing, I mean, this is looking good for them then.
Yeah, I think it's potentially a great mid-game team. I think a late game, you could probably argue Sync is definitely has a chance to come out on top there. I mean, Arachna, Drunken, those are two heroes that will be dealing a lot of damage in that late game stage. So, but yeah, kind of recovering here, slowing it down as you're mentioning. Get the Hellflower now and Doctor. It's just about there, and then maybe that Shrunken as we're talking about, and those trio of items could be pretty potentially, some good damage, and obviously some good follow-up with the initiation of Prisoner and Behemoth on top of that. So, but we do see. After all that happening, once again, kind of slowing it down here, recovering 2,500 gold saved up on Arachna already with that Whispering Helm. So, again, a case of what is he going for? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Ice Brand,
yeah,
Drunken, by
I'm
the way.
guessing something like he needs a damage item here after something like a Wing Bow or even a Rift Shard. I mean, something like that. I think Wing Bow is going to be his choice after Whispering, getting those big items.
Engineer? Oh, energy field going down, actually. Parasite was trying to jump him in the first place. Behemoth will go in, but what a barrier idol save there from Ophelia. Prisoner coming in, though. He hooks Engineer, finish him off, and actually Behemoth is able to pour it out. So the two heroes that were kind of having a skirmish end up dying in the end, and everyone else stays alive. But, yeah, well played with the barrier idol there, especially from Ophelia at the right time.
I was actually about to say that I would think that the game is going to slow down now, but then that happens right off the bat here, and we have a 2 versus 2 down there, and ends up for the Parasite for Engineer, so of course in Sync's favor, but I think the game is going to slow down, because if it's really hard to push into the base when Doctor can buy back and initiate on you. Once again, I mean, as we saw before, that's why they went into Complexity's favor. You can just ulti back in there with something like a 500-600 damage burst on top of your spells right after that, so yeah. It's really tough to deal with and hard to push into a Doctor and Behemoth on top of that. Like, those two heroes are just very hard to push into.
The Ice Brand on Drunken Master, so I think that Frostwolf Skull is going to be coming out. And that is an item that I've been hearing more and more people kind of suggest that they really do like the changes here. Obviously removing Frostfield Plate, but in a sense kind of giving that effect to Frostwolf Skull now and changing it up a little bit. But it seems like we have been seeing it a little bit, too, on different heroes even. So I guess the point is, though, Nier, do you like it here on Drunken?
I think it's all right, but I think it's more of like a solo kind of item that you buy for yourself kind of deal. I guess the slow is all right. The area freeze might help your team a bit, but it's not like a demonic, that has better effect, I think, for your entire team. But maybe just that slow effect and might be enough to validate it being a good team fight item or a team item. I'm not sure, because else I would like to see in a demonic onto something like a Drunken instead of the Frostwolf Skull here.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting way to look at it. I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, the fact that he's going this over, say, that demonic breastplate, yeah, I think you could say that he should have gone that. I mean, Prisoner, obviously, a lot of physical there, and also just enhancing him and Arachna's damage would be pretty potent here for the team. So,
yep.
But yeah.
Also keeps him alive, maybe just as well, because they have a lot of physical damage on the Hellborn side still. I mean, Behemoth is support magical. Doctor kind of mix when it gets to the late game. He's gonna have high auto attack damage, and the Parasite with the puzzle and Prisoner, that's definitely physical. So of course Parasite also a mix, but I still think the survivability is there with the demonic, and it's gonna help his team a bit better.
Yeah. Arachna gets the full Genjiro here for the time being, so has that now, enhanced damage from that. And Congor as well. This will be the second Congor kill here, and I'm sure another token on Arachna coming out. Obviously, Complexity not really interested in defending it. I'm pretty sure they knew by now, but not going to be happening. Top lane, by the way, a lot of TPs up here. You see Dr. Pulsar flying away. Behemoth is nearby, but he's going to portal key in. Oh, he was maybe hoping to snipe the tower, but that's not going to happen. Tower gets denied, so he will have to get out of here eventually.
Yeah, I think he was also hoping that maybe it was just an engineer and something like an Ophelia porting in, so that they could actually initiate and kill them if they were lucky. But wasn't to be. It was the Pebbles, the Arachna, the Drunken Master. You do not want to go 2v3, 2v4 against that.
You see, oh, what was that? Okay. I had to do a double take for a second because Ophelia thought he almost had Alchemist Bones, but no, he actually has this Alchemist Ogre here. And he's been running around actually using it to farm with a little bit, so that's an interesting choice by his lap tier. I guess it's Parasite counter.
Oh yeah, the Alchemist Ogre. Oh, I thought it was the Ice Ogre. Oh yeah, it's to counter the Parasite puzzle, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's why he has it. So that's what he's gonna do. That's gonna suicide itself onto the Malmö puzzle blocks. 100%. It's a nice pickup there.
That is interesting. That's something you never really thought about. I don't know if we've ever really seen. So that's it makes sense though. We see so much value in the alchemist bones against a prisoner, of course. So I guess if you have an Ophelia, you could just pick one up with the ogre.
Yeah. Also worth noting, Serenia has a mind trap over here, so in case someone walks over, that's gonna be a kill. So if they force a fight here, looks like they won't. Actually, Complexity is sitting in a weird spot over here with the Aluna, with the Behemoth.
Ooh.
I think they want to do the same thing where they hook Arachna in here to the right side on top of the racks here, but it looks like Sink is falling back, but I think that's the game plan, and then they block him off.
Yeah.
Block
Pause here. Yeah, they need to be careful not to sneak around here and then try for something. Obviously, as you mentioned, that mind trap is there. It's 5 mines. I guess he does have maxed out mines, so 350 times 5. It's a good amount of damage right there. Going to be happening, so. Quick reminder, guys, as they're going to be ready here. But the schedule today, is a little interesting, obviously, with the teams here kind of working out the schedule as best as we could here, as I should say, as far as the head admin's going to win out. But there's only one match in each time slot. Usually there's 2 here on the weekend, but just so happened that there's only 1 here. So we got Sync versus Complexity right now. In our next set, it will be Sync versus Polymorph. And then our final set is Polymorph versus Pingu Dancers Esports, formerly known as 2-0, of course. So definitely a fun day ahead of us here. And you see the standings and how things are looking after one day of games yesterday, and everyone getting some good action here. At least the 4 teams that played in it, that is. Polymorph, they had a little bit of a struggle. Definitely showing signs of hope, though, but in the end could not come through with a victory. But honestly, even this Complexity team, despite going 2-1-0, if we were going over that, Rick Roste and I, who was my co-caster yesterday, Complexity was down, like, most of their games, actually, before coming back. So it was an interesting day for them, but they did come out with a pretty good result, of course. That's what matters, but...
Yeah, I'm positively surprised at what LTD did. LTT is there?
LGT,
yeah. That shows promise. I mean, imagine if they played from cycle 1 this Hunter. I mean, I think they would be pretty good by now.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm surprised that they did as well as they did. Well, that was fun to watch.
They're an American team, of course.
Yeah, of course. South American.
South American, yeah. That's what's really cool. When I heard that really that put a smile on my face, because that's a scene that I said we haven't. Han's been there for a bit, and they've definitely had things going. And let's be honest, they've always kind of gotten this bad stigma of the players from there, they never communicate. And I'm not saying that's not the case. I mean, in TMM, I understand it could be frustrating, but the competitive scene, there's good players over there, and they're kind of showing that. Obviously, we've known for a little bit here with Oscar, especially. Complexity, he's from the South America region, but it's fun to hear that we have kind of pretty much a full team, really, from that area. So I am excited to see how they continue to do, for sure, in this Diamond Division. But all right, here we go. Coming back to this game, though. Again, the racks are exposed, so Arachna, you mentioned they're going to maybe try to trap him in right here. There's the stun. No, he's not going to hook. Something caused a delay right there.
Look at the path up here from both teams. Engineers running through it. You can actually run past here, as it is right now. Oh, the Altruist Ogre. I'm not sure you should suicide that. That's a bit of a shame there. Yeah. Now you cannot kill them all for free.
Yeah, that was a curious choice to actually do that with the Alchemist Ogre instead of maybe one of the Skeleton Kings, but wanted to try to get some information there. Clearly, unfortunately, it did cost its life there. Nice dodge in the hook from Arachna, so now they'll have a cooldown here of another 10 seconds or so. Before they need to worry about that. So kind of slowly doing work here, Sync Esports. They got the token for another minute 45 here.
If they can dodge another hook here, I think they have the racks. So it's going to come down to this next hook here, I think. Whether it's going to go well or not for Complexity side.
So Fuzzy Sloth.
Maybe they can stun the Creep Wave here with the Luna. That's guaranteed hook.
Yep, he just got the angle right there, but not really going to go. It's like, well, we did it, but now what? Behemoth will jump in. It's kind of a very scattered initiation right here. Energy Field is down. Doctor in the back, but again, Energy Field kind of causing issues. He pulls back in Ophelia. Arachna, though, standing her ground, takes out Prisoner. He is going to be dead. He will bite back for the final time, but in the meantime, you see Dr. Pulsar getting flying around the outskirts. Nobody dead on the Legion side just yet. Pebbles, he is going to be the first victim. as they take him out. The Meleerax, of course, is down, but they're chasing them out now. Arachna, she's got a token for another minute still, and she has plenty of life. She is going to take out Parasite. Dr. Pulsar, he's kind of done a little bit of damage here, but he just can't do enough. He has to fall back. Double tap for Haxerin. And yeah, this is Sync Esports. They're pretty strong right now. Behemoth will come in with a shockwave. He's going to try to take out Engineer at least. Is going to accomplish that, but at what cost now for them? Dr. Repulsor able to ludicrous speed away. But again, it's just a case of Sync is just doing enough to ultimately get a victory here as far as the top lane goes. And they will fall back now. They got what they wanted.
I mean, initially it looked really good for Sync. I mean, everyone stayed alive in the energy field there, nothing happened. And then a huge red stun came out from Love there, and then they can kind of reset, and then I think they kill Engineer. And then they get a little bit too overconfident, and they walk down the ramp here, and then Sync is just turning on them, and they have no business going so far after them, especially after the Rax is done. And Sync capitalizes off of that, and nets another couple of kills here. So well played from Sync there, knowing the limits, and they are so hard to kill. I mean, everyone's staying alive there. Shrunken Head, Soy Barrier Idol. I mean, Doctor went on Ophelia and does not have damage to kill him. So it's very hard for them to kill enemy heroes here at this point.
Yeah, you can just see kind of Doctor just sitting in the background, just kind of like, I want to kill people, but I can't really. Again, that goes back to the energy field. And the fact that he's still not, I mean, I understand that, yeah, Sheepstick's obviously very good, but it really seems like without a Shrunken Head, he's being restricted from putting out damage anyways. So it really is just such a tough spot for him.
I think even if he gets the Shrunken Head now, it's not going to allow him to deal damage, because Ragnar or Drunken is just going to right-click him and do more damage than he does to them. So he really needs damage at this point, and they need a huge initiation from Fuzzyslav and Oscar here to come back, followed up by Love stuns here. So it's very rough for them, but those stuns from Love last fight here was definitely the reason why it did not go a lot worse for them.
Yeah, I guess a strength that they still kind of have is that pick-off potential, but Sync's not honestly giving them any opportunities. They're really just sticking together for most of this game now. As you know, why wouldn't they, right? That's where their strength lies, and obviously a smart enough team to know that. So they're going to group up now bottom lane and start pushing that out a little bit here, but ultimately probably going to wait for the third Congor coming up, which would be Bananas now, of course, on top of that token. So going to keep the lanes pushed in, keep complexity at bay, and force them to maybe overextend a little bit and get pickoffs themselves. But Arachna now wingbow in full. He did split up the Genjiro, as mentioned, to make that, but very likely just going to now finish the Genjiro on top of it even. Wouldn't be surprised. I don't think he's feeling it necessary to get a similar rage at this point. He really isn't that vulnerable, as we've been able to tell, especially with the Ophelia support and his own Hardy carapace. So yeah, I would think Genjiro for him. Going to be happening.
Probably. I think the way that Complexity wins the next fight here is that Doctor jumps in, forces the Shrunken Heads from the Legion side, and then he dies, and then he bites back, and then they initiate again. I think that's the only way they can really win. I mean, after the Shrunken Heads are off cooldown again. But Sync has to stick around for that as well. Oh, the Mind Trap catches Love.
Yep. And there's a Bound Eye, actually. Oh, Oscar's going to pick it up, so that's could have been a little bit more costly than hoped for, but at least he's able to recover with it. I really wonder what Mickey's going for here. Like, part of me wants to think that he's going to Staff of the Master, and that's just awesome.
I think you're right. Yep. I think he's feeling that confident that they have this game, that he's going Staff now. I mean, in all honesty, it is a bit viable if Engineer puts the ulti down and then he chucks 3 people into it. I mean, then it's definitely a valid option.
Yeah. So. No, I don't. It is one of those staffs. It's like, it's not like core by any means. It's not something you really want to get most of the time, but it's not like a just awful, like, what are you doing pickup either. Like you pointed out, it does have some kind of potential, and it could actually set up some pretty big plays as well. You know, I mean, chucking, as you mentioned, 3 or 4 heroes into an energy field, for example. So I would be excited to see it, no doubt. I know people would out there tuning in as well. So it's Glowstone does make several items now, but looking at them, I think that could be the obvious one. It's definitely not going to be Icon. Spell Center, probably not. Nullstone, I don't see a point for it at this time, especially. So let's go, Staff. Get that group check going. Oh, Haxerin does go the similar rage. Again, I'm a little curious about that because it seems like he's just not had any trouble surviving, honestly, most of the time in these fights. But he wants to really make sure of that, I guess.
If it gets to a point where two or three of his teammates died and they only have killed one, I mean, and he has to man up. I mean, that's where he will probably guarantee the racks for his team because they can't kill him then if they use the rest to kill his teammates. So it's gonna allow him, I think, to get the racks. Also makes him more tanky. I think it's all right. I mean, what he could also do is just buy Enduro here to get more attack speed, more attack damage. But the simplest, the safer, and I think it enhances your win percentage by a lot more.
Yeah.
If you can put it like that.
Symbol's definitely probably one of those items. It has a very high win percentage because it does seem like it's one of those, like, you get it especially when you're almost ahead and, you know, really kind of just to make sure that it is going to seal the victory type of deal. So, yeah, as you pointed out, that's probably what Hackford's kind of thinking here. Just makes sense. You see he's also constantly checking the Congor pity. They clearly want to do it. There we go. They had a timer.
No, in our team we have Imba. He always writes down the timing when he dies, and then we know exactly when he respawns.
Yeah, that's smart. Aluna, well, she was scouting it. She's like, it must be up, and she's dead. Oh, there's a mine trap here. Stealth Hunter, though.
I think Stealth Hunter's gonna tank it in a second.
Yeah, it's possible. Oh, somebody else is coming. Oh, my God. The baller! No, Doctor! Oh, my God! Doctor almost died to it. Pebbles is going to get pulled in and killed, though. So Dr. Repulsor barely survives. You see the energy field was placed. They were hoping that they would chuck him into it or something, I'm guessing, but they couldn't get it off. So, oh, Doctor, though. God, one more mine would have killed him.
Also really close. I think that was max mines, so that's the maximum amount of damage you can deal. But oh my god, if they killed him there, I mean, it might have been game because he doesn't have a buyback. So that's a Congor into another Rax. I think that's game over. But he does survive here, and Mick is also dead for 60 though. But they will get the token, and now they can actually defend a bit here with the Doctor, I think.
Yeah. No, that's I definitely have to say that probably would have been GG right there, as you point out. But yeah, this, if anything, kind of keeps complexity barely into it. But that was pretty entertaining for sure. So you see the fun banter going on amongst them right here. But yeah, see complexity currently paused the game. But when do you guys play? By the way, it looks like you play on Tuesday. You have a match on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Tuesday, Thursday, I think.
You mentioned you haven't been playing a whole lot. I mean, have you guys practiced at all, like scrimmed at all, or is it you're gonna?
We scrimmed, I think, was it 2-3 days ago? I think we lost like 3 games in a row. But that was kind of expected. Also, we have Matthias / Owned Me is joining us again instead of Prey here.
Oh,
so
really?
we're gonna thank him. So yeah, and he hasn't played for a long time either. So we're gonna play, I think, tomorrow again, hopefully. And then we'll try and keep it up more.
Sounds good. Look forward to that. Yeah, you play fresh on Tuesday, so quite the challenge right away. Getting back into it here. All right, back to this one, though. We did see Congor, a little bit of interaction there. There were some shrunken heads used, but in the end, token is going to be picked up by Arachna. Bananas on Drunken Master. So all good there. Drunken, I think, actually is going to be getting a Brutalizer here, I would guess. He got, what is that new item called? God, the Branded Saber. That thing.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, there we go.
I guess so. I think at this point, whatever they pick up is not as relevant. Pebbles does not have the glowstone on him now. I guess it's because he's gonna TP somewhere. Then, okay.
What do you think of Savage? Well, we'll get into that in a second because yeah, Doctor, he is gonna be able to react in time. Nullstone definitely coming into play right there. And actually, though, Prisoner's still hanging around as if they might want to try something here. Never mind, he's going to TP away. The other thing that Branded Saber does make is a Savage Mace. And now, just like a Frosted Skull, it's kind of been liked by a lot of people from my understanding. Savage Mace has been the complete opposite. I've heard that it's considered like the worst. It's like there's no point to get anymore, blah, blah, blah. How do you feel about it? Have you played with the change yet? Or
I haven't played too much with it, but it's a little bit weird, I think, that if you miss one attack against the wingbow, I guess it was considered a wingbow counter as on top of damage, and you could hit towers from downhill. I think that's why you really picked it up. So if you miss one, you can hit the next 3. I'm not sure if that's good enough. So I'm a little bit indifferent so far. I think it's still alright, but I'm not sure if it's actually a lot worse, as many people have made it out to be, or it's just a little bit worse than before.
Yeah. Yeah, part of me just thinks it's maybe a little overreaction because of just how prevalent it used to be, that the change is kind of throwing people off. But I do also understand how it's, maybe consider that. But
I think,
go ahead.
I think Savage Mace and Rift Shards are kind of what you compare. Like, Rift Shards is the raw damage, and then you pick, that's what you want to pick up, but in most cases you had to pick up the Savage Mace in the past, just to counter something like a wing bow, or to hit towers from downhill, or whatever you want, as we can see Ragnar doing here. Of course, she has it in her skill set, but if she has to go uphill here, I mean, she's gonna die, so just standing here in the further really defensive position is what she wants to do.
Yep. Well, now you could just get a spyglass to attack that bill.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I say that joke.
I guess you could, but it's 1750, so...
It's kind of a weird item, yeah. Oh, Arachna is going to get pulled in, so this, you would think it's going to start. Doctor flies in the background. He actually catches Pebbles. It's, again, the damage, though, not doing enough necessarily. Energy field put down, but Doctor is going to be able to fly out and actually survive. So kind of some funky initiation right there. No one really going all out. And as a result, no one dies.
Big, but they forced one Drunken Head from the Drunken.
Okay, round two apparently on Arachna, but you see that. He pulled him in. Doctor flies in the background. He goes Pebbles again. He's trying to combo. Behemoth will follow it up, and actually they get a kill on Engineer. Again, no energy field this time. Dr. Bolster taking some good damage himself. Now he's being locked down. Arachna's putting an auto attacks, and Doctor will fall down. He does not have a buyback this time around. Behemoth is going to get picked off as well. Parasite in the background. He's all of a sudden by himself, and that's not going to work. GG, well played, is being called. It will be a victory for Sync Esports in the end. So, yeah, and again, they had a good lead there going into it, and they do execute to ultimately come through with the victory over Complexity here.
Yep, good strategy from them. I think maybe the Doctor pick was just not the best in the last pick scenario there. Of course, it's easy to say now after they lost, but it was really hard for them to kind of come back in the game and force a lead and even go to the late game with it. So, yeah, well played from the Sync there, though. They capitalized off of, good early pressure and some early kills, and look good for them. Of course, Complexity did hold early on, but it's not like they could outcarry them either, as we saw here. It was just too rough for them. Sync had the pressure throughout the entire game here.
Yeah, they did. They kind of controlled it, and yeah, Complexity could never really get things going themselves. So, well, we got game number one of the books here. Sync Esports taking it 1-0 now in the series. Can Complexity finish with the split? Well, will Sync roll away with it and get the bonus point as a result? That's what happens here in the group stages. Well, we'll have to wait and find out. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 2 should be happening shortly here. Sync Esports versus Complexity Gaming. Game 2 coming up next.